All right. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Christian Labosco podcast. Today I've got Tim Schreiber on, right? That's how you say
Yes,
it?
sir.
All
Yeah, yeah,
right.
essentially, yeah.
Tim has almost 1,900 followers on X in just 4 months while being in university. I'm super honored to have him as our first guest on the podcast. How are you today, man?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for having me, man.
Of course, man. Well, I'll start with something that's like pretty deep. What's your life philosophy in one sentence?
Oh, you know it, bro. Let's cut the crap, man.
Yeah.
Cut the crap.
For
That's what
those
my life is all about, man.
for those who haven't heard that, what does that mean to you?
It's basically like the slogan I have for my brand. It just means I will remove all the BS you don't need
Hmm.
and just give you the straight facts, the advice that will get you forward in your business, but also in your life and everything. Because you probably see it as well. There's a lot of bullshit out there, a lot of
Hmm.
people trying to sell you something with their bullshit ideas, but I want it to be different. I want it to stand out, and this is the way I'm doing it. Just cutting the crap and getting straight to the point.
Well, it seems to be working, man, because it's 1800. It's pretty amazing. Why
Yeah.
why did you start writing on X? Like, where did you hear about like that this was even a thing?
Well, probably the classic Dan Co. Like I got into writing
Same.
because of him. So I'd been building or like trying to build online businesses for a couple of months before I started writing.
Hmm.
But I quit all of them because none of them were fulfilling. I actually hated all of them. And then I found a Dan Co video one day. I don't even know how, but he promised me to be able to make money through something that I love doing. And that
Hmm.
sounded like so fantastic at the
Yeah.
time. And I just got started writing. One day I sat down and I wrote like an article about like biohacking or something. And I was in the flow state for 3 hours straight. And that's when I knew like I have to go all in on this business. And that's what I ended up doing.
That's awesome. What do you know what month you started posting?
I think it was in November, like mid-November
Wow.
or end of November, something like that.
That's some crazy results, man. 1800.
Yeah, I can't believe it myself sometimes. But you always compare yourself to other people who've done it even faster.
Hmm.
So like
Yeah.
it's kind of the thing I struggle with most at the moment, just comparing myself with others who
Yeah.
are doing better, even though I am doing amazing myself. Still that comparison is kind of tricky, but that's how we're wired as humans. But
Yeah.
it's a challenge we have to tackle.
What else did you try before posting on Twitter?
Oh damn. Um, so I did translation gigs, like translating
Oh, I've heard
translating
of those.
English website, no, German, I don't even know, English website into German, I think. But I didn't know about Google Translator, and I didn't know that they could fucking translate the pages for the person. So
It's
that's
hilarious.
I found that out after like 2 weeks, and I was like, "Fuck, man, what am I doing?" And then I started like an ads agency, something like that. Two Another 2 weeks of failing, then I started like I actually did copywriting. I learned a little bit about copywriting, but that only lasted for like a month or so.
Mhm.
And then I was so inexperienced. I didn't know like that you actually have to stick to something for a long time until you
Yeah.
see results. Because it's hard, all these people online promise you to make money in the matter of like 2 weeks or something.
Mhm.
And I fell for that trap. But after that, I started web design. That was like my first quote unquote successful business. I still lost money from it, but I signed a client through that. It's like $150, like not much, but basically did his website maintenance, and it was like an old WordPress website. It wasn't really that nice. Like spent 2 hours a week just hanging out on that website, pretending to change some stuff and making it better, but in reality, I didn't do anything, and I get paid for it like $150 no, $50 per month, and
Mhm.
I did it for 3 months, and yeah, that's how I made my first money online, basically.
That's well, that first dollar is always the best. No.
Yeah, I mean, it was $50 and he gave it to me. So he lives near me. So he
Mhm.
just gave me the cash. It wasn't really all that special. Didn't feel like my first dollar online
Oh
because it
yeah.
wasn't even online.
Uh,
So it would still take quite a while to get to that point.
when did you make your first dollar online from Twitter?
That was, I think, was it last month? Yeah, I think beginning of last month. So not long ago, actually. But yeah, felt amazing. That one de definitely did feel amazing. And that one also was the hardest to make for sure.
What did you do for that first dollar? For was it coaching or?
Yeah, just a 1 hour coaching call, just a one-off deal. Paid me 150 bucks, and that was it basically.
Well, it took you 3 months the first time and then 1 hour the second time. So
Yeah, yeah. Basically, like that's the power of the internet, right?
yeah. What do
Infinite
you
scaling.
what do you think is something people start doing too late, like on X, like something that they should be focusing on earlier, that they only learn
Just
later?
just launching an offer. You have to launch an offer from day one. Maybe if you have a skill, which most people actually do, even though they don't believe it,
Hmm.
you should offer something right from the start. If you don't have a skill, then like you learn one in 2 weeks and then offer something. Um, because if you don't offer anything, then you're not going to make money. And one thing I regret is not offering anything earlier, because that way, like I would have made so much more money because of compounding and exponential growth. Um, so that's the only thing I regret, but that's also something that many people don't do because they don't feel confident in their skills, but they need to put themselves out there eventually. So why not do it now?
Yeah, I think that's something a lot of people can relate to. Like I relate to that a lot, like not thinking that you're ready to start charging money or
Yeah.
even some create something at all. So the only thing you would
Yeah.
change is probably just launching an offer earlier.
Yes, exactly. And probably all the mindset stuff, like not worrying too much about this. And not one thing I also regret is working too much on this. I sacrificed a lot of like social events for this and stuff, but it wasn't worth it because I made zero progress in those hours that I worked at like 9 p.m.
Yeah.
It was just dumb because it wasn't necessary. Nowadays I work, I mean, I had university and a job going on at the same time, but I don't work much on this business, honestly. I have a lot of other stuff to do, but you don't need to work a lot for this business model.
How do you like divide your hours to be able to do this during university? And also, you
It's
quit
a
your
good
job,
question.
right?
I quit my job.
Yeah.
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 Let's fucking
That's
go, man.
that's
That felt
awesome.
amazing. Still have to work there for a month, but after that, I'm gone, baby.
That's awesome.
Um, about the systems I have in place, usually on the weekends I do all the business stuff, but every morning right after waking up, I write like a newsletter article or like a long form post or some tweets. Just 1 hour every morning. It's really that simple. And then the afternoon, I handle like my DMs, engagement, although I don't really engage anymore. DMs, little bit of client work, but most of that is done on the weekends. Like
Mhm.
usually my Saturday is pretty packed with client meetings and everything. Sunday I try to turn off the internet as much as possible, but I still
Yeah.
have a couple of meetings there, unfortunately. Um, and that's where I do most of like the deep work stuff. Sunday, I love just sitting down to write because it's something I very much enjoy. Writing a newsletter article or writing like my next lead magnet, stuff like that. So that's how it's structured roughly. Business on the weekends and throughout the week, I do more for university.
Do you like batch write your posts or do you just kind of write them whenever you get the idea and then post
Whenever
them?
I get an idea, which is actually pretty often, I will just put it in the queue.
Hmm.
But I usually batch them. Like I'll write 20 tweets on Sunday, and then I'm done for the week. Like it just frees up so much time because these short form tweets are pretty low leverage anyway.
Hmm.
So you shouldn't spend too much time on them. And if you don't batch them, you'll probably be very inefficient with those
Yeah.
time wise, and that'll, you know, make it harder to make money.
Yeah. Do you repurpose your newsletter as tweets or do you just write?
Yes, all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't come up with that many ideas, right?
Yeah.
Usually my long form posts are just my newsletter articles for people with shorter attention span. That's usually how I go about it. I shorten the sentences a little bit. I structure it differently. But that's basically how I write all of my long form posts. They're just my newsletters repurposed without the call to action at the end,
Mhm.
obviously, but that's despite that, that's it.
Do you write
Repurposing is a must.
do you write more threads or long forms, do you think?
Long forms. I haven't read. written a thread in months at this point. I
Mhm.
should start doing that though, again,
Yeah.
because they are pretty useful sometimes. It just depends on what you like more. Honestly,
Yeah.
I honestly think they're pretty much the
Yeah.
same ROI.
Yeah. The only thing I've heard that makes threads better is it gives people more opportunity to repost.
That's very true. And one thing with threads is you can also see how many people read through. Like when do you
Mhm.
lose them?
Oh, that's
So you
true.
get some
Yeah.
better feedback on that as well. So I might start doing threads again.
Oh, that's actually really smart. I've never heard anyone say that. Like you can see like where the impressions drop off
Yeah.
and people start losing
It's actually
interest.
how I improved a lot of my long form writing. Just by back in December, I wrote a couple of threads. That's where I learned like where do I lose these people? Where is like where did I mess up the hook or something like that? Where's the structure messed up? So it's actually a pretty good way to practice. So again, I might start doing that.
Wow, that's great. I've seen that you've had some pretty viral giveaway posts. What do you
Oh yeah.
suggest for people to have viral giveaway posts? Like what do you think were the things that you did that made them go viral?
So two things probably. First one was building pre-launch hype, just by posting some teaser images or making like a dedicated post about it and just telling people about it. Um, the actually three things. The next thing is just the hook of the post itself. And you can see with my viral giveaways, I always hooked with like some sort of accomplishment that I had.
Mhm.
And especially if you can put that or phrase that with numbers. Like I had my first one, I think I got 800 and something K impressions. Like it's a very specific number, and people are just like they're drawn to
Yeah.
numbers. And especially if it's like an accomplishment like that, that will just motiv encourage them to click through the post and actually sign up.
Mhm.
And the third thing was just having a strong network, having other creators that I could ask for retweets. Like that's why networking is so important. You can't be a lone wolf on here. You have to get in touch with people who are more successful than you. You have to get in touch with people who are the same size and even smaller people, right? You can also get some value from them and you can help them along the way, which is also always pretty fulfilling. And who knows, they might end up becoming your clients in the future. So it's always a win-win. Like you never lose from networking with people.
Yeah. How do you recommend like networking? Do you recommend like starting a Telegram or setting up?
Um, that's actually something I wanted to do, like set up a Telegram community. I see you've done that, and I was actually like, oh, I need to fucking do that, man. And
Yeah.
that's actually pretty smart. Um, but I've just been reaching out to people and just sending them like random messages. Like some of my DM conversations are really weird, but you have to be weird because otherwise
You're like
you're not being
everybody else.
authentic.
Yeah.
Exactly. And um, just being authentic in the DMs is very mandatory because otherwise you'll just be another person in their DMs,
Yeah.
which like, whatever. A lot of people get a lot of DMs, including me, and a lot of them I've got to say they're very uncreative. So and sometimes I don't even take the time to reply, although I always try to do that. But yeah, just be authentic.
Yeah. Did you get most of your clients from cold outreach or inbound messages?
I get all of them from inbounds. So a lot of them through my newsletter.
Mhm.
A couple of them, one of them just reached out to me. Like he was actually a friend of mine. He just wanted to work with me. And some people through like the X timeline, specific call to actions that I placed there, or like specific types of content that motivated them to reach out to me. But all of them were inbound so far.
So you think the newsletter converts the most people to inbound messages like
Yeah.
for client? Do you have like a
For me
certain
at least.
do you have a certain framework for writing your newsletters that you follow?
Yeah. I always try to use the AIDA framework, the like,
Mhm.
very classic one. That's one I really like. But the PAS, like problem amplify solution, is one of my favorites as well. So just the classic copywriting
Mhm.
frameworks, um, because they also work with, even if I don't have a call to action in the article itself, they just work with capturing attention and encouraging the reader to read till the end.
Hmm. So just get really good at the foundational.
exactly.
parts of
That's
copy.
yeah.
Yeah. So do you think that doing copywriting for that month has really helped you grow faster on Twitter, learning all
No,
those?
that
You
no,
didn't?
I didn't know shit about copywriting. And it was in German as well, so it
Ah,
was pretty different actually. Not in terms of the psychology aspect, but in terms of the writing. But also I forgot most of it after only like a couple of weeks. So that month of copywriting was it wasn't wasted because I learned a lot of lessons, but in terms of the copywriting, I didn't learn anything.
yeah. Did you know English super well when you started writing on Twitter?
Yeah, just like I do now. Like my English hasn't
Mhm.
improved much since then. But I'm native German. I didn't grow up bilingual. So I learned English actually through watching YouTube videos. Obviously, we learn it in school here in Germany, but I learned most of it through watching YouTube videos, like especially the accent and stuff I got from, I don't know, some YouTuber. So that's actually pretty funny. Like I recently posted about this, how much you can learn through the internet. Like
Yeah.
it's an entire language they are basically learn through the internet.
Yeah. That's incredible. This is one that I struggle with is engaging. Did you like stop engaging at a certain follower count or what did you
Yeah,
decide?
I don't do it anymore. I should do it again, but honestly I can't be bothered really. It's so engaging is probably the least fun part of this business, although I really want to engage with a lot of creators because I want to support them. I want to see them grow, but I don't really have the time. I know that's an excuse, but there's a lot more high leverage tasks that I want to work on. So I've stopped engaging, but I want to do it again. But I need to get off my ass and finally do it.
What would you say is the highest leverage activity that you do for your business?
Client work calls with them or just doing everything like with my offer. I do a lot of this stuff for them. So that's always my main priority. After that, it's building like lead magnets or future products and then writing newsletter articles or long form posts.
What do you think of doing paid reposts? Have you done them before? Do you recommend them?
I haven't done them before, but I've heard from a lot of people that they might be worth it, depending on who you work with, right? You always see these, or at least I always see these anonymous accounts of like stoic whatever reaching out and asking for
Yeah.
retweets and stuff. I don't know if I would trust those people, but if you have connections to like a big creator who's credible and you can pay them to retweet your post, I think that could be worth it. But I haven't tried it myself.
I remember I had like a stoic account like that reach out to me at 200 followers and they had like 650,000. They're like, I really see
Yeah.
some potential in you. It's like,
Yeah,
want to hop
bro,
on a
that's
call?
they always say that, bro. So uncreative, man.
What do you think is the biggest thing that stops small creators from growing on Twitter?
I think they focus too much on the strategies. So they focus too much on like engaging and stuff like that. Although that is important and engagement will help you grow. One thing that will help you grow more is focusing on the fundamentals, which is writing good content. Um, I've recently thought about this. I feel like the new strategy with X is just to write a lot about your personal life. I recently posted about quitting my job.
Yeah, I saw
That
that one
post went
viral.
insanely viral, but you, I don't think that's only the case because I quit my job. Obviously, that's impressive, but it's also because I posted more personal content and I plan to do that a lot more in the future. So if you're a small creator out there, I feel like you could really stand out by posting a lot about yourself and creating like an actual personal brand. That's actually something I didn't do in the beginning. I just posted like platitudes about self-improvement and something. Um, and obviously I didn't stand out. People didn't follow me. So I would focus on writing first, just writing good content, but also focusing on that personal brand aspect,
Mhm.
that side of things, like sharing stories from your real life. And it's
Yeah,
important to live an actual life and not
yeah.
be like me last winter and just work all day. I don't recommend that.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. What do you think is like the biggest factor that's helped you grow so fast?
It's a good question. I ask myself that sometimes too, and some I don't know for sure. Like I'm not the one to judge, to be the judge of that, but I think it's hmm, good question. Well, it's partly because of my writing. Like I learned how to capture attention and stuff, especially that aspect, like the capturing attention. That's
Mhm.
what I got pretty good at. Um, so that's probably the first reason, and the second reason is I honestly don't think there's anything special about me, but the reason I'm more successful than like successful, it's such a weird word, but the reason I've grown more than a lot of other people is just because I showed up more. I did more
Mhm.
than others. I um posted more. I always like I haven't missed a day in like almost 150 days posting, like 120 days. Um, and I've always been engaging when that was my priority. So I just showed up. I think that's the secret, which isn't really a secret, but you just have to show up, man.
Yeah,
It's that simple.
consistency. Yeah.
Yep.
Do you plan on staying in university if you can grow this even further than you have now?
If I can, no, if I make like 10K per month, I probably won't be in university anymore. I've got to say, I enjoy university though. Like the people there are amazing. They're not like entrepreneurs themselves or anything, but they don't have to be good people, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I really enjoy that side of things, and I feel like if I didn't go there, I would just be a little bit lonely. So I'd have to be a lot more outgoing with the rest of my social life. That's something I've also noticed this winter is you need a social life, otherwise you would just be like a gremlin working all day, not making any
Yeah.
progress. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, once I cross like I don't know 10K per month, I'll drop out. Yeah, I don't see my future being in university.
What are you studying in university?
Study biomedical chemistry because I'm a nerd, bro. No,
Do
I'm a
you?
real nerd. I
Yeah,
love it.
that's awesome. Oh, at least you like it.
Yeah, I love it, man. It's like it's so interesting these all this
Yeah.
science stuff to me.
Yeah. I
Andrew
agree.
Huberman is one of my biggest role models because he's just well, obviously because of the science aspect, but also because of how interested he is in learning. Like
Hmm.
he appears to be really, or he loves what he does,
Hmm.
and the thing he does is learning, and I
Yeah.
resonate with that.
Yeah. Same. I was in a super intense academic program for science that I recently
Oh, hell
left.
yeah.
Yeah, I love science, but I didn't like lab. It
Mm.
frightened me. Chemistry lab frightened me.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I think like I like what Andrew Huberman does, but I don't know if I'd want to be Andrew Huberman, like actually doing the experimenting. I like learning from the people who are
Yeah.
experimenting. Like I'm
Just
super
the
interested.
podcast side of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super interested in learning from these people that are doing these things. I just don't know if I'd want to be in the lab with like the microscope and trying to figure out different data samples and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you think
Totally get you,
you'd
man.
do you think you'd stay in Germany or would you move somewhere? I think I saw you post about Thailand.
Yeah. So long term, I want to stay in Germany because my family's here.
Mhm.
And a lot of Germans complain about Germany. I mean, I think that's partly a German thing. And I do think there's a lot of things going wrong in Germany. I mean, things are going wrong everywhere in the West or whatever,
Yeah,
in every country. But I still think Germany is one of the best countries in the world to live in, just because of its safety and because you have so many opportunities here.
yeah.
So long term, I probably want to stay in Germany, but this fall I plan to go to Thailand and just chill there, do some work, hit some workouts and stuff. But for now, I'll stay in Germany. Yeah, I'll go to Thailand and then come back to Germany probably.
Do you plan to do any Muay Thai while you're there? or any martial arts?
Hell yeah, bro. One of my friends is has started doing that, and he always urges me to start as well. And I
Mhm.
really want to, but it's hard for me to find the time.
Yeah.
Because I also play tennis, so
Uh,
it's kind of tough to
wow.
find the time. But I definitely want to do that.
What would you say to people that are in university and want to do this but don't think they have enough time? Because you're like a example of that is possible because you're doing tennis,
Yeah,
what I don't even know what you said, biochemical, biomedical.
biomedical
Yeah.
chemistry. Yeah,
Yeah, that
but
doing that, that's what would you say to people that don't think they have enough time?
just do it anyway, bro. Like you don't need much
Yeah.
time. Like you only need 2 hours per day. One of my clients, he has a very demanding 9 to 5. He has 2 children. He goes to the gym almost every day, and he still manages to do this, make money from this. So, um, like just start and
Mm.
see where it takes you. Like we can talk about some lever moving actions in the beginning, but the first step is to just start
Yeah.
because if you don't start, then you're never going to make progress, right?
Mhm. What would you say are the labor moving actions in that 2 hours that they have every day?
Yeah. The first one is if they don't have a skill yet, then they need to learn a skill, which takes like 2 weeks to a month.
Mhm.
Um, Once they have that skill, they need to create their offer, make it really, really good, and then all that's left to do is put it in front of people. And you do that by posting very good content, and only then like do we get into all the engagement stuff and everything like that. But at first, create your offer or learn the skill, create your offer, and then get really good at posting content about it and putting it in front of people.
So, like building and writing would be the two. Building the skill, building the offer, and then writing.
Building and writing.
What are you excited for? Like, and then what do you think are the next stages for your business? Like, do you think you're gonna, I'm not, are you running cohorts?
I am actually doing one next month, and
Oh, wow, that's
today I filled
awesome.
up 2 spots already. So there's 3 more left, and that's the next step of this business, just doing group coachings and cohorts. So that's
And
there you go. In the long run, I plan to uh, create like digital products and detach my income from my time, but that's something for a couple of months.
are you getting most of the cohort signups because your newsletter or because like of Twitter?
One of them through my newsletter, one of them just asked. I don't know how why he just asked me in the DMs, so I'll take it. I'll take it.
Are you like promoting your cohort, or is it just kind of like if they go to your website, they'll see that you have one?
I just started. I started promoting it yesterday, so it's been a short time, but we'll see how quickly these spots fill up. It appears to be working very, very well. So yeah.
That's great. Do you have a process for promoting different offers, like a two threads a week on the offer or something like that?
Yeah, there's some specific strategies. These like we can go into these, but they're kind of complicated. Um, so whenever I have like a giveaway coming up, that's usually when I'll also launch like a cohort or something or a new coaching program. Um, so before the giveaway, I post a lot of like the 1 to 2 weeks before, I post a lot of so-called insight content, which is basically content that tells the reader what they should do, but not how to do it. So it's different
Hmm.
from value content, which tells the reader how to actually apply this to their business or to their life and see some results from this. With insight content, you don't tell them that. You only tell them what they should do, but not how to do it. And that will really kind of agitate them. I've seen this with myself when another guy did this with me, who I actually ended up buying from.
JQ
Like,
Molina?
no, no, no.
Yeah.
He's like the advocate of this stuff, right? Um, that's also where I got this from. One of my mentors, actually, Harry Beadle, he taught me a lot more about this and how to actually apply it. But he posted like tweets that like didn't really say anything. but it kind
Hmm.
of positioned him as an authority, and that
Hmm.
really made me want to find out more. And eventually, I ended up buying his product because, fuck, man, what is he talking about? I really want to find out. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm missing out. Like, that's
Yeah.
basically the feeling I tried to give them. And some people have said that this was it's kind of immoral or something. Like you're tricking these people into buying your offer.
Hmm.
And I don't agree because the biggest service I can provide for someone is to sell them my service and deliver results through that.
Hmm.
Like you can read through all of my tweets, but you won't get as much value out of it as if you were to work with me. So I think I'm actually doing a service by doing that, but maybe that's just me coping. I don't know, but I really think that's the case.
How much how much have you like spent on like or courses and thing and or mentors? And how much do you think they've helped you like progress faster on Twitter?
Must have been a long time. I'm still probably not profitable, so it must have spent like over 5, 6K on all this. And a lot of the stuff was wasted because it was just about skills I didn't need, like cold emails. Like I did that with my web design thing I had, and it was a very valuable course, but it's just I don't need it anymore.
Mhm.
So little bit of it was wasted, but I think if you are really careful with the mentors you pick, the people you buy from, like this will propel you forward so much. Like it's so worth it. That's all I can say.
What course would you recommend for like someone starting out?
For someone starting out, I can't recommend like a course. I always recommend, and this is a resolution I've made for myself, buying from creators who are just 1 or 2 steps ahead of you
Hmm.
because they can give you the best advice. Like I bought Danco's Digital Economics, like the
Hmm.
expensive one, and it didn't really help me much because it was just too advanced for me at the time, and some of the stuff was old as well. But
Hmm.
if you have like a mentor who's just recently accomplished what you try to achieve, then
Yeah.
they can give you so much better advice. They can also work with you one on one. And a lot of the times it's also cheaper. So
Yeah.
that's what I would recommend.
Yeah. Would you like recommend doing a cohort or a course? Like what if you could decide which one and they're like I mean, I'd assume a cohort's more expensive, but it seems
Yeah.
like that's just it
And
also seems like it would be more up to date a cohort because it's live.
yeah, it depends on who you buy it from. Like I've heard that Dan Coe's cohort, which it is supposed to be really good. Talked to one guy who's in there and he says, yeah, I get some value out of it, but this is like, I don't know, it's like 500 people in there, so you can't really get the
Hmm.
personalized advice. But I would probably go for the cohort because you have can also network with these people in there. So that's just my yeah, also obviously depends on the person, right?
Hmm.
You're buying from, but that's what I would go for.
What do you think of the idea when Danko says the niche is you, like you are the niche?
For personal branding, that's very true. If you're a beginner and trying to make money from this, I don't think that should be your mindset. Like you should still pick like a sort of niche that you go for, like coaches or um health and wellness brands or something like that. But if you're playing the long-term game, which we
Mhm.
always are supposed to play the long-term game stuff, I think that's very true. And over a long enough time frame, you become your own niche. It's something you
Mhm.
have to establish. You
Yeah.
you are not your own niche. You have to become your own niche.
Mm.
So I do kind of agree with him, but with a little bit of nuance.
Yeah. I'm definitely trying to I'm the niche since I have so much time and I'm only like 15, so I have like 3 years.
Yeah, bro, you're doing fantastic, bro. It's crazy
Yeah.
to see these
So
young people everywhere who are killing it, man.
yeah,
You're killing it yourself, man.
thank you. Thank you, man. This one's a little more like specific, but do you have like think anything changes for growth strategies? Like as you go up like from 0 to 300 or 300 versus 500 to 1,000? Like those are just random numbers, but do you think the growth strategy changes depending on your follower count?
In the beginning, it's very dependent on how much you engage and how much you network with people. But if you have some momentum built up, it's gonna be a lot easier to leverage your content and giveaways and authority posts. So I feel like engagement becomes less and less important the bigger you are. So writing becomes more important. That's just the way it has been for me. I don't know if it's like that for everyone, but I feel like it kind of is.
Yeah. I actually like struggled this with this in the beginning. I was engaging so much, like a ton, and I was like, well, when they get to my profile, my writing isn't even that good right now. So it's like, why are they
Oh
gonna
yeah,
even follow? So then I
same.
really started going back on the engaging. Do you think there's like a threshold where people should like 500 followers where they should really focus on the writing, or is it like more nuanced for people's
Yeah.
situation?
Yeah, first of that, it's like transition. Like once you cross 1,000 followers, I would say engagement is like should consume 20 minutes of your day max, because that's when you can really leverage those followers with your writing
Hmm.
and giveaways and stuff. But it's just an arbitrary number. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's at exactly 1,000 or just
Hmm.
something around that.
Do you have like if you had to restart with the experience you have now, would you have like a growth strategy for like exactly how you'd get back to where you are now faster?
Yeah, I mean a lot of about the algorithm has changed since then. Nowadays, long form posts are a lot more valuable. So I would just push out long form post after long form post where I just establish my authority and do something like a case study or something. Maybe you take on a client for free
Hmm.
and have like an amazing case study, because once you have case studies, signing clients becomes like super easy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would take on that first client for free. I feel like you can always start charging. You don't have to do free work if
Hmm.
you have a skill. Um, but that would be the number one thing I do, just hammering out authority post after authority post and using that organic traffic to leverage my growth. And I would also engage a lot if I really wanted those followers. Like it still works. I know we've talked a lot of shit about engagement today, but it definitely works. Like,
Yeah, it does.
I don't know.
I just wonder, like, I wonder how quality the followers are from engagement. I wonder if it's like
Yep.
some of the problems people have with paid reposts where they get an audience that isn't super interested in them. So it's, I'm not sure. I don't know
Yeah.
much about it.
Yeah, it depends on the quality of your comments. There's this guy, his name is David Watson, I think. He writes like amazing comments. Like you can really see that he spends time on this. And I think in that case, the followers are going to be qu
Mhm.
pretty high quality. But if you're just like me and you like write like shitty fucking joke comments, I don't know if the quality is going to be that high.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you have different like kinds of content? Like you talked about insight, value, authority. Like, do you have like certain content you need to get posted each week for your business to be running well?
Yeah, it depends on if I'm launching a product or a giveaway,
Hmm.
but I try to usually post at least one or two long form posts where I just provide value, where I just deliver value that people can actually implement, just so I build that kind of goodwill and authority. But despite that, I also try to put out a lot of these inside tweets to kind of agitate people and make them want to reach out to me.
What do you think about authority hacking? Like in the beginning, like people were writing, "This is Naval Ravikant, and here are his 10 life lessons that changed my life," or
Yeah,
something like that.
it works. It's if you if you want to optimize for growth, definitely do it because it just works. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, I seen this girl. What's her name? Kimia or something.
Oh
She wrote
yeah.
like a post about Joey Dispenza, and
Hmm.
she gained like 5,000 followers in 2 days. It's crazy. Um, and I realized why it works, because some people have written these posts about me, and I always try to give them a retweet or at least engage with their posts if you know. So it's a good strategy, but I mean, actually, no. I think it's a very good strategy. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, the only I want to do it, and my only conflict, I've done it, but not like at the level where you pay for reposts, because
Oh,
that would
yeah.
like really blow it up. But
Oh, you have to, does like growth hacking entail that you pay for repos?
um,
I
I
thought it was
mean,
just like writing a post about the person.
no, I think it just writing a post about the person,
Okay.
but I'm not sure they can go at that viral. Well,
Yeah.
I think they can go that viral, but I don't know how fast they can go that viral. Because I feel like if you don't pay for reposts, it takes a while for the algorithm like to pick it up a bit. But if you pay for reposts, like I remember Stein Norman posted the Naval post, and within like
The fuck do
an
you pronounce
hour,
his name?
yeah,
Yeah.
I've done a workshop with him, and that was the first thing he went over. How do you pronounce my name? So
Stein.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. Yeah. How much he did? I didn't even see that. I don't think. But yeah. I
yeah,
mean, it works for him.
yeah, he does
So why
well.
wouldn't it work for you?
Yeah, it's true. Something to definitely like experiment with. Who do are like the people you look up most into the uh look up most to in the creator economy right now?
So my mentor Harry Beadle is one of my biggest inspirations, but I also like check out Audrey Lowe's newsletters, especially. She has like she has some very good copywriting, and I try to learn from her. Um, Despite that, Brandon Story is a great one,
Yeah, he's
a good
great.
friend of mine. Um, who else? Despite that, I think I just get a lot of ideas from smaller creators, but just like bite-sized pieces of ideas that I synthesize into something bigger. So there's not that many people that I can say like these are big inspirations for me. I try to limit that palette of people anyway, because otherwise I just get overwhelmed and confused. So yeah, those were the ones I look up to the most.
Do you think that like someone starting out probably shouldn't be taking or like taking the advice of the bigger creators so actionably, like they're going to start taking action on it because like one, what worked for them probably doesn't might not work anymore, and also what's working for them is way different than what you're doing when you
Yeah,
have small follower count.
exactly. And you always have to consider that everyone's situation is different and you can leverage that. So there is no right or wrong way to do things. Anyway, I don't think there's a right or wrong way to live life.
Hmm.
In general, I'm like very individualistic. Is that the way you state? I don't know. Um, you have to always be careful with taking advice, but if you're like neurotic about it, you're just gonna end up burnt out and confused.
Hmm.
So the framework that I have is if I find like a new creator that I like, I will consume their content consistently for 3 to 4 weeks. And if after those 3 to 4 weeks I say that's some really good advice, I think that could work for me, I start implementing everything and not even question it. Sometimes you just have to implement and not even question. It's like it
Hmm.
sounds kind of stupid, but
Yeah.
that's actually how I made a lot of progress. Um, and only when it works, you question like, why did this work? That's the way I did it. So that's the rough framework I have, like 3 to 4 weeks of them basically qualifying themselves as good mentors, and then
Hmm.
I just implement.
Do you think that like videos on Twitter are going to start becoming a bigger trend, or are they already a good way to grow now?
They're a fantastic way to grow. If you don't have like a shitty mic like me, or like I don't even have a real camera, bro. I need to get one. If you can bump up the quality at least a little bit, you seem to have a good camera, so you should be good. Um, Videos are a great way to grow because they give you give the read or the watcher something to the viewer something to hold on to in terms of your personality. They see
Hmm.
your personality, they see how you talk, and they trust you so much more because of that.
Do
Um,
you, oh, you go ahead.
one my mentor actually, Harry Beadle, he told this story about how Brandon and him like kind of got closer. Brandon didn't trust Harry like for a long time until posted a video of himself. Like Harry posted some case study video, and
Mhm.
only then Brandon said like this guy he's legit, and then they
Yeah.
became friends.
Yeah.
That's the power of videos.
Is there any like style of videos you recommend, like case study or authority or something like that?
Um, I always read off my long form posts in my videos. I don't know if that's the optimal strategy. That's just been what's working for me. In terms of like editing style or something, I would just keep it as raw as possible because people appreciate the authenticity. If you could do a little bit of editing, that's cool. The main thing is that your personality shines through and that people see how you talk.
Yeah, that makes sense. What do you think about like people who write the long form posts and then they have the video of them reading the long form? Do you include both, like basically the script of the video, or do you just
Yeah.
post the long form separately?
No, I've been really lazy. I've been doing both at the same time. Yeah. Like I'm still experimenting with video myself, but I've been really lazy with that. So I just basically read off my long form posts in the video, then I post them together.
Do you think, well, have you transitioned to other platforms besides Twitter?
Nope. Actually, YouTube. I've just posted the videos on YouTube, but that's it. I don't plan to branch out anytime soon because I really want to master this platform.
Mm.
Maybe go to LinkedIn, but the first platform that I want to master after Twitter is YouTube.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, I don't give a shit about TikTok or Instagram. I don't want to be part of that fucking
yeah,
attention span
yeah,
slaughterhouse shit. So
yeah,
leave me alone with that. I'll stick to Twitter and YouTube. But for now, it's just Twitter, mastering my writing and learning that.
yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm doing similarly. Just starting on YouTube because I have a good amount of time and
Hell yeah, you need to send me
yeah,
your YouTube channel.
yeah.
I'll subscribe.
You'll be my third subscriber.
Hell yeah, I don't have more than that myself. So,
Something Dan Coe said was that like you should just start off on YouTube as soon as you can. Just get like all of those terrible takes and like recordings out of the way. Because
that's a
I
good
think
point.
Mr. Beast even says like you need like to post 100 videos before you even start worrying about growth or something like that. But it's
Oh,
even
that's
like
a good point.
nuanced in that way because I saw this other guy who posted 3 videos and his second video was like how to go viral and like
Oh my
without
God.
posting 100 videos and he has like
Wow,
200,000 subscribers on YouTube. So
crazy.
it's just like nothing is so like black and white. Well, I was like zooming out, like what do you think's the end goal with your journey as a creator like 20 years from now?
So I feel like I'm not always going to talk about business and everything. I might, obviously, this is a personal brand, so my personal interests will change and I will start talking about those more. It
Like
just happens
pivoting?
to be the case, yeah, that currently I'm very interested in business and making money and stuff, so I will teach other people how to do the same. Once that's not my interest anymore, I might talk about, I don't know, health or spirituality.
Mhm.
I I can't really tell you that because I don't know what my interests are going to be in a couple of years.
Mm.
The long-term vision is just to keep this brand up, keep on posting consistently, and hopefully making an impact eventually. Like it sounds kind of cringe, but I want to somewhat be like a thought leader. Like,
Yeah,
um,
that's I don't think that's cringe. It's like
yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of it's like why else would you be on here? I guess if you really
yeah,
want to be there here for the long run. Like you want to be
exactly.
like the person Danko was to you that got them to start on the journey.
100%. Like that's probably the ultimate goal. But yeah, I talked to this one guy recently and he had like a 30-year vision. And I thought that was just so amazing because he like it just makes all these tiny worries that we have throughout the day go
Mhm.
away. Um, but I don't have that myself, gonna be totally honest. I might have like a 3, 4 year vision, but not a 30-year vision. I need to change that though.
Is Twitter like a big social media in Germany? Like is that
Nope.
popular? Not
No.
not at all.
Only in like politics spheres, and I don't want to get into that, man. I talked to a lot of German creators who are trying to make it big on Twitter, and they're struggling. The best platforms in Germany are TikTok and Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts, which is like dumb. Fuck Germany for that, but that's like how the young generation is here. No, I don't think it's not just Germany.
Yeah,
Um,
I know what she means.
yeah, but I don't know why, but it isn't really big in Germany. So I said like I'll write on English because I can also reach more people there.
Makes sense. Did you have like, did you consider writing in German initially on Twitter?
I actually did for like 2 minutes and then I scrapped.
Yeah, it's just such a big audience if you
Yeah.
write in English. I'll like zoom out from Twitter as well. Like, what are like the books, ideas, like people's or experience that have shaped your worldview and approach to life? I know you mentioned Andrew Huberman.
Huberman for sure. Chris Williamson is another one. I listen to his podcast all day, basically, like the Modern Wisdom podcast. I love that show. Um, Hamza, he was probably the reason I got onto self-improvement and business in the first place.
Mhm.
I feel like he did a great service with that, getting me onto all this stuff, getting a lot of other guys onto this stuff. Um, Let me think who else was like a big inspiration. Actually, one book that really changed my life was Think and Grow Rich.
I
Also a
just,
very cliche book, but like a very, very good book. So
yeah.
I read that last year in, I don't know, February, something like that. And from that day onward, I knew like business is what I wanted to do. And yeah, I went all into this and apparently it works now. After like 10 months of not working, it finally works.
Yeah. I recently just read Think and Grow Rich, even though I've had it on my shelf for like 2.5 years. And it's just like amazing like how ahead of his time like that writing was. Like
Yeah, it's crazy.
it's just like this is from
When was that written?
1937. 19 it,
1937,
it was
bro.
like published, so probably written even earlier. So
Crazy,
that's
man.
even crazier.
Such a fantastic book. Despite that, I'd have to think about that. Obviously, like my parents and shit, like people from my personal life, those are like obviously the biggest influences, but in
Yeah.
terms of people that are famous, like those were the main ones.
Do you have any other books that you'd, or not other books, but like books you'd recommend for learning to write or learning business, like foundational books?
So all of the Russell Brunson books, those are amazing. Um, Alex Hormozy, obviously. Despite that, I haven't read many business books, to be honest. I learned most of these skills through mentorships and courses
Action.
and videos and action,
Yeah.
obviously.
You're
A
the
lot of
cut the
painful
crap
lessons
creator.
through
Yeah.
actions. Yeah. Um, but despite that, I think like those were the main ones that changed something for me. With a lot of books that I read, they don't actually change something in my life, but those few did.
Yeah. It sounds like the thing that's really helps you progress so fast is that you just implement, like you're just
Yeah.
implementing these things and you're not
Yeah.
like waiting around
Kind
for,
of turn your brain off and just do shit.
yeah, and
That's
see if it works.
that's the secret.
As we like come to the end of this, if you could only have the audience have like one takeaway after listening to the podcast, what would it be?
Damn, let me think. We only briefly touched on this, but maybe business is not everything in life. That's a mistake that I made last year. Just focusing only on business and forgetting everything else. And that was just stupid. I missed out on so much life because of that. And I'm only like 20. Like I still have so much ahead of me, but I still regret that because
Mhm.
those couple of months could have been great months if I didn't like, if I wasn't that stuck in that narrow-minded mindset
Yeah,
of I have to work all day. Because you can build amazing businesses working just maybe
yeah,
3 hours per day and make tons of money from that.
yeah.
People have done that before.
It might even
Like you
make it
don't need
better.
to. Yeah, and you don't need to sacrifice everything for your business. I know that's what Alex Hormozy says. I know that's
Yeah.
what a lot of people say. But for me personally, the goal is not to be worth 200 million. I just
Hmm.
want freedom and peace,
Yeah.
and you can achieve that with just 2 hours of effort per day.
Yeah. Like wealthy in all areas. That's why I like Think and Grow Rich, because like rich in that book isn't just money to me. It was talking
Yeah.
about just all areas. Well, that this is super fun, and you
Yeah, I
dropped a
really
lot
enjoyed
of
this.
value, man. I think the three people are really gonna love this, but when they look back in a year and I've
Fuck yeah.
and it's grown, they're gonna be like, "Wow, can't believe
Yeah,
we had
they'll see
Tim
us
on the
both.
podcast. It's crazy." Look at it now,
Uh,
30,000 followers on Twitter.
Man, this was so much fun. Thank you for having me.
Of
And
course, man.
we might do one in the future again,
Yeah.
probably with better lighting because it's really dark outside, man. I apologize for the lighting and the shitty
It's all
camera and
right.
the shitty microphone, but hopefully someone
It's all
can get
right.
some value out of this.
Yeah, it's all right. The value makes up for all of it, man.
I hope so, yeah. Thank you for having me, man.
Of course.